The thoughts and opinions are those of each individual voice on the podcast and do not necessarily represent the policies of Cedar Valley High School.
Welcome to Aviator Airwaves, the official podcast of Cedar Valley High School, where we keep you updated on everything in the halls, on the fields, in the classrooms, and beyond. I'm Derek Reynolds, one of the assistant principals here at Cedar Valley High School, and we're here to spotlight the stories, achievements, and events that make CV soar. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram and share the show with your fellow aviators. So if you've got a story, a shout out, or an event that we should cover, reach out for. After all, this is your podcast. Let's go around, and I'm going to start on my left here. We're going to introduce who's on the mic. Once again, I am Derek Reynolds. I'm one of the assistant principals here at Cedar Valley High School. Maybe I should say the assistant principal because I don't think any of the other assistant principals have even done one of these podcasts, and this is like my fourth now. So wow. I'll say that until they get on here, and then they can add to that list. So, okay.
Hi, everybody. This is Cassie Hope speaking. I teach the English language development classes here at Cedar Valley, and if you have no idea what that is, I just work with those who are learning English.
Hi, I'm Maddie Reed. I'm a life skills teacher here.
Hey, guys. I'm Savannah Wilcoxon. I'm the other life skills teacher here.
Okay, perfect. Well, I'm glad you guys could join us today. We have a fun topic. We're going to talk a little bit about inclusion today. But before we talk about that, we need to set the story straight. Okay, Derek Reynolds. A lot of people either mistake me with Ryan Reynolds or think Ryan Reynolds is directly related to me. Interesting fact about Ryan Reynolds is he and I are the same age. I think our birthdays are about a month apart. But if you know me and know Ryan Reynolds, I look way younger, and that's the story I'm sticking to. So, but it is funny. I hope this is legal. I think it's legal. But a little while ago, I just thought it would be really fun to have a picture with Ryan Reynolds. And so I used some AI to put a picture of me and Ryan at Topgolf in Salt Lake together, just getting ready to golf. And I have it on a rotating picture frame in my office, and it's fun when kids actually see it. I actually had a staff member the other day that was sitting there talking and stopped mid-sentence and said, "Wait a minute, is that not really, right?" And I'm like, well, we can talk about that later. So it does catch some people off guard. For the record, I am not related to the Ryan Reynolds.
Have you ever met Ryan Reynolds?
Oh, come on. No, but it would be pretty cool.
Have you ever met Ryan Reynolds?
At this point, I don't think that's even true either.
Dang it.
So,
no cousins or uncles.
This is just this is losing all its air all of a sudden. So. Yeah, so I'm not as cool as Ryan Reynolds, nor have I ever met him, or I don't even know anybody by that name. So
cooler. You're cooler than Ryan Reynolds.
So the great thing is we're going to find out who actually listens to these podcasts, because then someone can come in and be like, "Hey, you actually admitted you're not related to him." But if they don't listen to the podcast, then they can come in and assume that I am related to them. So it'll be great. Okay, fantastic. Let's segue into it. So we're going to start off talking about inclusion today. And we're going to start off with Maddie Reed. And Maddie, maybe talk to us a little bit about when you think about inclusion at Cedar Valley High School, what does that really look like on a day-to-day basis?
Okay, perfect. I feel like at least in our classrooms, in the life skills classroom, we have peer tutors with our students all day long. And so they're sitting there learning alongside each other. And it's super fun. They're making those connections. We have built-in supports for all of our students, so we're not singling them out. We also have amazing teachers here that help our students, and they don't put them in the corner. They have them in their class learning the same things as everyone else.
Okay, that's awesome. And once again, Maddie teaches in the life skills classroom, as does Savannah. And Savannah, we've been doing a little bit of a campaign. I say we, but really it's you guys, have been doing a little spread the word to end the word campaign. Can you tell us a little bit about that campaign, kind of where it started, and then also, how we're doing this year with it?
Yeah, sure. So the Spread the Word campaign, the Spread the Word to End the Word campaign kind of started to spread awareness of inclusion and make sure that people are using correct terminology when referencing people with disabilities and or just including them in their day-to-day activities. We've been doing this inclusion campaign. This is my 4th year doing it here at Cedar Valley High School, but it started when one of our other teachers, Maddie Larson, started it with t-shirts, just making sure everybody has a place to belong and is supported within Cedar Valley. So it doesn't just necessarily include or support our special education program, but it supports everybody in the school, making sure everybody has a place that they feel loved, belonged, and that they're seen and heard at Cedar Valley High School. So we are selling a t-shirt with a black and white design. It has an ASL symbol that means I love you on it, and then it is surrounded by words that just kind of support the special education world, but everybody being included. So there's adapt, include, accept, inspire, educate, advocate, accommodate, love, be kind, and respect. And so those are just kind of some key words that Maddie and I like to include in our classroom and our teaching environment, but also ones that we see around Cedar Valley High School and we hope other people will include in their school as well. Maddie and I have sent out our campaign to all of the special education teachers within Alpine School District from preschool up until post-high, and we did that last year and we're doing it again this year, and it's really cool to see that support throughout the district. And Maddie and I once went to Black Bear Diner together and we saw some random person wearing our shirt from last year. I have no idea who they are. I don't even know what they look like, but we saw the shirt and we thought that was so cool to see it out in public and to see just other people within the communities wearing our t-shirt and spreading the word and including others in their lives. So
that's amazing.
Yeah, so that's what our campaign is, and our students all get a t-shirt and we all wear them on the same day. This year we're wearing them on March 4th for the Inclusion Day, and teachers around the school will support our students and wear them as well.
Well, as I heard, if I heard correctly, you paid for that person at Black Bear Diner for their meal, right?
It was a paid program, yes.
Yes, so anybody that wears theirs in public, just look for Savannah and Maddie because they might pick up your bill wherever you're at.
Yep, so. Exactly.
Yeah, and I looked at some numbers the other day, but do you remember about how many t-shirts you've sold this year?
Last year we sold about 200 t-shirts. We are super close to that same goal, and it is a little different this year just because we have less students that we are donating to and supporting in our life skills program. But I actually think that number has been matched with district teachers buying them as well. We are, where does it say it?
I think we've sold about 180 this year.
Yeah, I think we're around that same goal.
That's really impressive.
Yeah.
I like that. And then what do you do with the money that comes in from this campaign?
So it supports a lot of things. It supports our classroom funds. Special education teachers aren't always given a big budget. We do a lot of our own personal purchases because we need supplies and we love our students enough to spend our own money, but it also helps our students get things for the classroom that they may need, whether it's reinforcements, it's just other kind of hands-on manipulatives, activities in the classroom. But we also like to support our students in attending homecoming and prom. And we have some students that might not be able to afford a homecoming or prom ticket. So we purchase their tickets for them, or we like to have a little dinner or party beforehand because they don't always get to go out in the community. And so we like to provide them with a fun party before homecoming, like every other student gets with their group of friends. They get to go celebrate the dance. And so we have that here at the school, and a lot of those funds go towards that activity, whether it's a dinner, a photo booth, or it's just a fun activity for them to come and participate in. And it's helpful for parents too, because their kids get to experience the same experiences other kids in our community get to experience, just in a little bit of a different setting.
Yeah, and I love the fact that, even if I didn't want to buy a t-shirt for myself, and I haven't yet. I need to. I keep
We're going to hold you to that.
You should, because I've told you for 2 weeks now. But you can sponsor a student in the class too. So, you have, I don't know how many students you actually have, but at the same time, you kind of have certain sizes or whatever set apart so that each kid can be sponsored with a t-shirt. So I think that's fantastic as well, that you're able to do do that, that the community can help out, and you have so many teachers and district employees that will support this program. So great job. I'm really excited. I saw the design, and it is beautiful. I like it a lot. So I'm hoping, everybody's wearing them at Black Bear Diner or wherever they may be.
Yeah.
But you said March 4th is Inclusion Day?
Yeah, so that's where the big campaign that I'm sure is across the United States that they do it, but we decided to do it on that same day just because it is Inclusion Day, but it's also just a day that we can all wear our t-shirts and take pictures and post them on our Cedar Valley High School Instagram. And we are going to continue this year, but last year we had all of the teachers within the district that bought them take pictures with their little group at their school and send it to us, and we spotlighted them on our Instagram as well to show their support. And we posted our students' pictures with permission, and we posted Maddie and I posted wearing our t-shirts, and it was really cool to spotlight everybody's support that has bought a t-shirt. And so we hope to do that again this year.
I love it. That's a great idea. So let's shift gears a little bit and talk to Cassie, she's an ELD teacher and part of our ML task force, and she'll kind of talk about what those things are specifically, but she works so closely with our English language learners. Cassie, can you kind of share with us some of the things that we do as a school to help support our ELL population?
Yeah, I love it. Thanks for having me on. I'm so excited that Savannah and Maddie are here to talk about including those with disabilities. And my little portion is about including those who are linguistically diverse, that have multiple languages that they are proficient in and dominating. And so some of the things that we do as a school to support our ELL populations is, obviously, there's me as a teacher. I help directly with students who are learning English. We practice reading, writing, speaking, and listening skills, but it's not just my job. We have lots of teachers who are willing to work with English language learners in their content area classes and help make sure that they're understanding this difficult high school level material, even for those who are brand new to speaking English. But recently at Cedar Valley, this is our first year of doing an ML task force. And what that means is that we've got 12 teachers and an admin who are willing to work together to identify what are some of the needs that exist within our language learner population and how can we address those. And so it's a team in its infancy, but we're already doing some amazing things. We've collected some data and are having really positive conversations that are moving us in a forward momentum. So that's the adults, but we mostly care about children here, and I feel like our students are the ones that make the biggest difference for our language learners. I grew up in American Fork here in Alpine School District, and at the time I graduated in 2013, right, I had zero interactions with students at my school who spoke another language other than English. And there probably were language learners at my school, but there weren't enough that we came in contact. So when I graduated, I'm 18 years old. My very first experience working closely with somebody who spoke another language with me was in China, actually. Right out of high school, I went and did a program that volunteered in a foreign country, and it happened to be China. And so you can imagine the difference between English and Chinese is pretty vast, right? And so new alphabet, new sounds, new everything for me. And so I was in a position where I had no Chinese experience. I was learning how to say things like, what's your name? And can I please buy 2 of these things? Just very, very simple Chinese. And I had that experience as a language learner where I was across from somebody who obviously was proficient in Chinese, and they would look at me with a little bit of fear and I would look at them with a little bit of fear because I wanted to be understood and they wanted to make sure that they understood me. And that actually happens with some of our students here at Cedar Valley. They have the chance to work with their peers who are brand new to English, and they get to have that chance to learn from them and interact and see what that's like to be with somebody who might not feel super comfortable with English, and to learn from them and from their experience, and to experience some sympathy of what might that feel like to be in a new culture and a new customs, a new language, and be stuck in a school where you don't maybe understand things. So I just really appreciate our students here at CV who are willing to have that experience and who do such a good job at encouraging and being inclusive of our language learners.
Yeah, and I'm part of the ML task force. I was the administrator. She was talking about this part of that, and it's been really eye-opening for me too. Dr. Luis Cruz has been coming in from out of state, basically, to kind of run us through this program. But it's amazing because they talk about being, ML or our ELL population. It's a superpower, basically, and I thought more about that after the fact. I actually admire people that speak a foreign language because I do not. And the few words I know here and there, I can't have a conversation or anything like that. So it really is amazing. And a lot of times, we try to cater to them, but at the same time, if we put them at the forefront, I think they can help benefit our community quite a bit too. So I really like what that program has to offer. And we're part of a cohort that all of Alpine school districts really trying to get on that same page as far as the support that we give our ELL population. So thanks for all the great work you do with those kids. And it's great to see the progress. We're able to see the data that is collected each year and the progress these kids go through. And it's just phenomenal to see the steps they're taking towards proficiency. So thank you, Cassie, for all your work with that.
Of course.
I will open this next question up kind of to anybody that would like to talk about it. But what are some misunderstandings that people have about inclusion or the students that we specifically work with amongst this population?
I feel like the biggest thing that I see, and I've talked to our peer tutors about this, is when someone sees someone with a disability, they automatically kind of think of the things that they're not going to be able to do versus all of the things that they are very much so capable of doing. I feel like a lot of people don't give them that credit. They can do just as much as anyone else. It just might look a little bit differently than they may typically see.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, I feel like part of inclusion at least for Maddie and I, is we always try to keep our students held to the same standard and expectation to the best of their ability as every other student here at Cedar Valley, because that's all they want to be, is they just want to be exactly like their friends and they want to be treated exactly like a typical high schooler. And for Maddie and I, it's really easy for us to shift gears and to kind of treat them like every other high schooler. But for a lot of other people, they see our students and they know they have a disability. And so they kind of treat them like a child, or they treat them kind of in like a baby sense. And they almost don't want to hurt their feelings, or they don't want to treat them in a way that might come off as rude or disrespectful, or, calling them out for their behavior. But for some of my students, that's actually better for them, is to be held accountable just like every other student, because they see their friends in the hallway and they're held accountable and they're in trouble. Or, it doesn't even have to be discipline, but just being held accountable just like every other teenager and talked to like every other teenager. And so I feel like that's a big misunderstanding I've encountered, not only here at Cedar Valley, just just in general, of people treating our students almost like walking on eggshells around our students because they have a disability. But it's they may have that, but they also want to be treated and looked at like every other person. And it sometimes hinders their ability when you treat them like that. And so that's just almost enabling that behavior of well, I don't have to be like every other student because I have a disability, so I can get away with something. Yeah. Sometimes that's their mindset. And so I think that's a big misunderstanding about inclusion, is also treating them like everybody else is including them in the population of the gen ed world. Yeah.
I had the opportunity this year to go to Friendsgiving and your Christmas party and such, and they become some of my highlights of the year, really, because hanging out with those kids, especially outside of the school setting, there's just so much joy in everything, every small thing that they do. Yeah. And so the little activities we did and stuff like that, the kids just absolutely love it. It was great to have some of their peer tutors in there, and the parent support and everything that we get. So those are just some great experiences, and I know those kids remember it. So I appreciate what you guys do, giving them every opportunity that every other kid at school has, and probably some that other kids at school don't get. So you really take care of them, and we appreciate that.
I'm going to be honest, sometimes those parties are for us because we love them more than the students, but they end up coming and having a great time. And for me, I just love to see them in that environment. And even if it's a lot of work, I don't care, because I love to see them thrive and have that fun opportunity. So sometimes it's a selfish reason I like to have the parties.
They're so much fun.
It sounds like you need to include more teachers in these parties.
Yes,
This
we
is
do.
true.
Volunteer to
We
be
love
first.
We do. We have sent out invitations to the admin, and it's been awesome to see their support. But I think next year, as our population of life skills students grow, I think also our invitations need to grow as well.
Love it.
Yeah,
I love it.
We'll find a bigger spot as long as you're willing to invite your students
Yes.
and others for the party for you.
Yes.
So the party
Consider
for
this
two.
your invite, Cassie. You're invited.
Love it.
I also was thinking just barely earlier this year we had Ben Kerr come and talk to our students, and his movie actually just came out yesterday, and so Stand Out is in the theaters right now. But it's a really great story. But Ben kind of reminds me a little bit of that. He had what would be classified as a disability, but he took that and. I think the whole premise of Stand Out came from a comment his mom made, something like he was tired of being different and he wanted to fit in and be the same. And she basically said, you're not born to fit in, you're born to stand out.
Yeah.
You'll have to watch the movie to get the actual quote. But at the same time, he was so great with our students. He came here, and even after the assemblies we did for each grade, just watching him one-on-one with a line of students that would come up to share their experience with him, it almost brought tears to my eyes just because everybody has their own story, and Ben has his, and it's a great story. But again, we always look to include everybody in everything that we do, and sometimes when we forget that, we just need to reflect on some of these students and the opportunities they have or don't have and how we can include them. So thank you for all the work you do with them. Let's go to another question here. What helps inclusion work well within a school, and where do we still need to get better? Not all at once.
I think what really helps inclusion work well at a school is just a clear understanding, or like a clear, understanding is the only word that's coming to my mind, of just what inclusion looks like or means. And it means something different for every single student. It means something different for Cassie's students versus mine and Maddie's students. And even our gen ed students, they also want to be included. And so I feel like it doesn't always have to boil down to specific groups in the school, but I feel like having that clear understanding of what inclusion could look like for every student would definitely help. And then just also unity across teachers, having a good, every teacher's band together to have inclusion in their classroom with whatever that looks like, or they're supporting inclusion, whether that's supporting our students at their games or including our students at the dances or extracurricular activities. The teachers are also involved in that, because it all starts from examples, and the students look up to our teachers. And I feel like if the teachers have a good, they're all band together, I feel like that also helps our students include inclusion in their lives as well.
Yeah, and I know, too, you have opportunities with your students to be able to have them participate in sports just like the other kids do. Can you talk about how that looks a little bit?
Yeah, go for it, Maddie.
Yeah, so we are starting a Special Olympics program. We took our kids to a track meet last year, and it was amazing. It was so much fun. We took our students, we took peer tutors to help them, and they loved it. They loved participating in a sport just like their gen ed peers. They loved racing against each other and winning and getting medals or getting ribbons. And so it was just so much fun seeing that. And so we're going to do track again. We tried to do basketball. We're probably going to hold off on that until next year, but we're going to do track again, and we would love all the support to come out and support our athletes when we do that.
Yeah. And maybe I'm going to talk a little bit about the ELL population with this too, because I see a lot of athletes, especially professional athletes, that, come to the U.S. for the first time. They hit this big salary and stuff like that, where they get a contract. And a lot of them have interpreters, basically, so they can know what's going on. But maybe, Cassie, talk a little bit about, do you feel like kids feel included in the sports as far as the ELL population, or are they a little hesitant to try out and do some of these things because they worry about that? Where do you think they stand in that process?
That's a great question. And we've actually done a deeper dive into that, because we were noticing that, at least in this fall semester, that there were only 2 students who also are ELLs who are participating in a sport or extracurricular like band, etc., right? And students have self-reported that sometimes they do feel uncomfortable with the language or the customs. Like, I don't know where to go for tryouts or what I need to do to prepare for a tryout. Also, just socially feeling like they don't feel connected to anybody who is trying out for the team. Like, they want to feel like they can join a group where they'll be comfortable. But I have seen personally, there are a few students at our school that have participated in sports, and the amount of growth that their language made in a matter of short time was incredible. So it is a huge benefit to these students to be able to feel included in these groups. And as a school, we definitely could do better at helping bridge that connection between our coaches and athletes and these students so that we can have them part of our extracurricular groups and be a benefit to them.
Yeah, that's a great thought too, and I think that's something we could take back to the ML task force and work on over time because, we'd love participation on all levels from these students, and if they're confused about our process, then that's on us. We need to kind of take a look at that and reflect and figure out how we fix that going forward so that every kid feels like they have an equal opportunity with that. Last question of the day would be, how do students with disabilities benefit from an inclusive environment?
Well, I think the question is without disabilities. Did you ask that, or did you say with?
Well, since we're not editing this, of course.
Don't mean to call you out on that, but
I said with. It should be without.
Well, they both benefit from inclusive environments, but I feel like the importance of this question is for the students without disabilities because, like Maddie and I have seen growth with our peer tutors over the years, and I have returning peer tutors that come back, and I have some peer tutors that say, like, Miss W, because of your class or because of working with yours and Miss Reed's students, I want to become a special education teacher, which is so cool for me because it's a hard job to get into, and for them to love it at such an early age is awesome. But it also, I feel like it helps develop their empathy and their understanding of just how to treat others with any kind of difference in their life, whether it's they have different interests or they have different capabilities or abilities. It just shows like they're willing to learn and work with people that are different from them, whether it's a kid with a disability or not. But I also have noticed a lot of my peer tutors have said that it's a place for them to just feel loved and included because there's no pressure from peers, no judgment, no social pressure to be anybody and to live up to anybody's standard. And so they come in and they're accepted right off the bat, and they're loved by our students because our students love having them in our class, and they get to show who they truly are and have a place where they can just be included in that, like they're included as well. It's not just them including my students, it's them also being included in a fun group. They get to go to fun activities like track with us, or they get to go to the dances with our students, and that gives them also a place to feel included. So those are just some things that I've noticed that have benefited having an inclusive environment.
Yeah, any other thoughts on that?
I also think it just provides real world preparation. When they get out into the real world, they're going to be interacting with people of all different sorts. People with language barriers, people with disabilities, without disabilities, people who grew up in a different situation than them. And so it just really prepares them to be kind and accepting and inclusive of everyone.
Yeah, and I want to highlight again your peer tutors because those kids are so fantastic in everything they do. They're phenomenal working with those kids. It always amazes me, too, to see what kids sign up to be a peer tutor.
Me too.
I don't even, as an administrator, I don't even know how to say this, but sometimes kids that are difficult for us to work with or might have some behavioral problems over time, those are usually the same kids that sign up to be peer tutors.
Yeah, whether they want to or not. I think a lot of them is like, in the past, it's kind of been, and I mean this in a respectful way, but a dumping ground for kids that don't have another class to take because we've never really put a limit on how many peer tutors we've needed in our class before. And so it's an open class, so let's put them in there. And some of them stay, and some of them are like, this is not the class for me, and they're aware of that, and that's totally fine. But the ones that do stay, I feel like they learn a lot, even about themselves, and they almost like they almost develop like, I don't even know, like confidence, and like they realize like they can do something like this and they like it. And it ends up surprising both of us. Like some of the students, like you said, that you have difficulty working with are some of our best, kindest, and most accepting peer tutors. And they come
100%.
back, and it's awesome. And I would love for them to come back because it gives them a place to work hard and to get a good grade, honestly, because some of those that's their hardest thing, is getting a good grade in school. So
Yeah, and it's amazing. I've been at Frontier Middle School before, and so I've seen some of these kids that were peer tutors there and also here, and it's just amazing to see that they just keep taking that class because they love working with those kids. So such a great thing. I was going to ask too, Cassie, do we have a program set up where we have peer peer helpers basically for our ML population, or how does that look?
We do not, but we have trust in our student our student body, that when they are given a pair assignment or a group assignment, that they will be the kind of student that is willing to notice some of our multilingual learners and give them an opportunity to participate in these class discussions or do a part on a group project, even though it might feel a little bit uncomfortable, a little bit awkward at first, that they will understand and respond with kindness. Because like we had mentioned earlier, like you don't really know these students' stories. You don't know what's going on in their brain. They might feel anxious. They might feel scared to participate. And what that looks like is someone just kind of sitting there. But as they kind of reach out and ask questions or point on their paper to a place where they might be getting lost, like all of that helps our multilingual students be able to feel included and connected.
Yeah, it's amazing. I think we do a great job here at Cedar Valley, but just in this podcast, I've realized we still have a lot of work to do. And I hope that we can continue on in this process, just of making sure that everybody sees everybody as equals. And I think that's, at the end of the day, what we're looking for, is just to make sure that everybody feels welcome and included in everything that we do, regardless of the struggles in life. And we have so many students from different walks in life and facing different challenges. So just look outside ourselves and see how we can build others up. And I think that's part of what we try to do in the Aviator way. So I think we're out of time today, but I did want to thank each of you. So Maddie, Savannah, and Cassie, thank you for your time today.
of course.
Staying late on a work day. Oh my
Friday.
goodness. We're out of contract time now. So you guys are going above and beyond. So we certainly appreciate it. And I hope that we can have a follow-up conversation sometime as a podcast too. That would be fantastic. So thanks again for your time. We hope everybody listening has a great weekend. I don't know when this will actually air, so it may not be a weekend, but we will sign off for now, and we will see you next time on Aviator Airwaves.